If you're on hold, hang in there. There we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome, one and all. We have so much to cover today. And of course, today is also Friday, and you know what that means. Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. One of our listeners, Christine in Pennsylvania, she came up with the Open MAGA Mike Friday. We do the open phones, but I didn't want to call it Open Phone Friday because that was the late great Rush's thing, and I didn't want to call it that. And Christine called in from Pennsylvania, and she says, "How about Open MAGA Mike Friday?" And immediately I said, "That's perfect. That's perfect." So it's Open MAGA Mike Friday. On Open MAGA Mike Friday, the show prep is up to you and the listening audience. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. You don't even have to comment on the things that we bring up on the program. That's today, Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones, but you don't have to be MAGA to call in. And the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I have so much to cover. So early on in the program here, if I go through things quickly, I apologize, guys. I got a lot to cover, okay? This is the deal. Okay? The left like to call us a cult. When I say us, I'm talking about Trump supporters, MAGA people. They call us a cult. A cult is a tiny little thing, all right? We're the majority of the country, and not only because President Trump won the popular vote in all the battleground states and all that in November 2024, the poll I shared with you yesterday from that CNN report, the MAGA movement's larger today than it was on Election Day in November 2024. So we're the majority of the country, the majority by far. Cults are little tiny things with little followings. You hear this, you hear the term cult used properly a lot of times with a television show. There'll be a television show and it's not popular. No one watches it. And they'll say, oh, it's got a cult following, a cult following. They used to say that about Star Trek, the X-Files show, like, oh, they've got a cult following. President Trump's got the mainstream of America following him, all right? And the real cult are the Never-Trumpers. And if you look at the people, you want to talk about this now, cults. Us being the majority, we're not the cult. The Never-Trumpers are the cult. And have you noticed when I take calls, how far into a conversation do I have to get with a caller for you to know they're a Never-Trumper? Any of you remember Name That Tune? That used to amaze me, Name That Tune. And remember they would have like the, I forgot what they called it at the end. They'd have like the competition between the two and who could name the tune in the fewest notes. I could name that tune in 4 notes. Well, Gene, I could name that tune in 2 notes. Well, Walt, I could name that tune in 1 note. 1 note, and then it would happen, they do 1 note, and they would name that tune. I'm like, how could they name that tune with 1 note? Well, for me personally, now I've got a good trained ear, and I've been doing this for a long time, and all of that, but I can usually tell someone's a Never-Trumper in the first syllable of the first word out of their mouth, right? That they're a Democrat, they're a liberal, by the first syllable out of their mouth. And for those of you out there that are longtime listeners of this program, it probably doesn't take you much longer either. But when I go to the phones on this program, and this, as far as any talk show in the country, this is the only talk show that takes calls that does it screenless. We don't have a call screener. No one else does that, right? And because of that, you do lose quality control a little bit, but that's okay. And I'm not going to go through the whole reasons why we do that. I've done that many times. I don't want to get sidetracked now. But when I talk to liberals, any liberal, whatever degree of liberal they are, as opposed to a conservative, what's the difference between the two? So far as the caller, as people, as humans. The liberals that I talk to, when's the last time you heard me talk to a liberal who was not crazed, hysterical, completely unglued, or used inappropriate language? They're vile, strange, very creepy people. Most of the liberals, aren't they? When's the last time you've heard a liberal or a never Trumper call me that was a decent, respectful person who had a real conversation? They're unglued. I talk to conservatives. There's exceptions to every rule, but when I talk to conservatives, pleasant, gentlemen, gentle ladies, no profanity, real conversations. You know, I got a call at the end of yesterday's show. You let Richie go on forever. You cut me. Well, Richie's not calling in like an unglued person. You are. Greg, too. But I very much enjoy liberals calling the program, don't get me wrong, but you can just tell the difference. So I bring this up for a number of reasons. Some of the polls I have, and there's been some amazing, amazing signs in special elections around the country that we're going to have a massive midterm election victory. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But you may have seen this very tragic story of this champion wrestler, 19-year-old kid who was hanged publicly, executed in Iran. Here you got this 19-year-old kid, had everything going for him, star athlete, right? Good looking, in shape, young, whole life ahead of him. And he put everything on the line for the freedom of his people in Iran. And at 19 years old, gave his life for freedom in Iran. He was hung publicly, executed publicly. 19-year-old kid. Salah Mohammadi, is that how you pronounce his name? I apologize, no disrespect intended, because he was a great man. 19-year-old kid. Listen to these liberals I'm talking to, especially the younger guys. Here you got a guy who had everything going for him, an incredible future, Olympic gold medals and all this stuff in his future. Sacrificed his life for the freedom of Iran from this lunatic government they have, that the United States and Israel are taking out. And I get these young guys that call me, they're in total meltdowns because gas cost a couple of quarters more than it did a couple of weeks ago. They're melting down over some spare change while we got this 19-year-old kid in Iran who sacrificed his life. And you guys are having meltdowns over spare change? What's the matter with you? Don't you hear yourselves? Butch up. You know, they like, anytime there's some type of conflict going on, they like to talk about the draft. We're not going to have a draft. You think we want to have some random selection from the young male population of this country that's out there now, who's freaking out over a couple of quarter difference in the price of a gallon of gasoline, having meltdowns over that? If you can't handle the spare change that you know, I mean, how are you going to handle the real deal? We don't want to draft you people. Are you kidding? You're nuts. You're wimps. We have a nation of wimps when it comes to a lot of young men out there. But it's not just young men. Whenever you hear me talking to a liberal on the phone, when's the last time you heard one that wasn't completely unglued? It's been a while, hasn't it? You know, I left the house this morning. Boy, were the roads wet. It was raining pretty hard in the overnight hours, but that's okay because I've got proper tread on my tires. because of Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, Friendly Tire and Margate have new tires that you can get out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And remember, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. As low as $75 a tire. That's for brand new tires for common sizes on some of the most popular vehicles on the road today. Before I found Friendly Tire, I don't know, many years ago, I don't know how long it's been, but I've been a customer there for a long, long time. I would drive on tires that didn't have the proper tread, which was dangerous. You don't want to risk your life or the life of your family. Have tires with the proper tread on your vehicle so you're safe on these wet South Florida roads like the roads this morning. Friendly Tire also has thousands of good used tires in stock as low as $35 a tire. Out the door and on the road price too. Give Friendly Mike a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. 9445. That's 954-977-9445. We'll take our first break of this Friday and be right back. All right, real quick. And I saw Bruce in there said he hadn't seen Christine. Christine, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know if she wants everybody to know. Christine changed her name in the chat. And I know that because she's one of my moderators. On the YouTube channel here. So Christine changed her name on the chat. So that's why you haven't been noticing her as much as maybe you used to. But I'm not going to tell you what she changed it to because I'm not sure that she wants people to know. But yeah, that's it. Okay. I've got so much to cover on the program today. Holy smokes. Let's see here. Yes. If you'd like to call in, if you're on hold, stand by. And if you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. Hold on. Mike's telling me what time we're coming back. Okay. Yeah. If you're on hold, stand by. The number to call in is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I would love to hear from liberal callers, never Trumpers, Democrats who are not unhinged, don't use profanities or perversions, and have real conversations. But it seems to me, you know, Michael Savage, when he said liberalism is a mental disorder, it seems pretty much every liberal caller I get backs up Michael Savage's thesis statement there, right? Yeah, and it's unfortunate. And I'm not talking about being wrong or disagreeing on the issues. They're unhinged, aren't they? Are the Democrats that you hear, not just here, on these big national shows on CNN and stuff too? Weirdos, unhinged, pissed. I mean, look at these women on The View. Look at these liberals that are on all these channels. Oh, yes, I know what I want to start with. Hold on a second. I got to queue what up. I got to queue up what I want to get into after the break. Hold on, I almost forgot. Hold on. I almost forgot. This is the problem when I have so much that I want to cover. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Hold on. We got just over a minute, and we will be back. Stand by. Just over a minute, we'll be back. Oh, this one's a good one. I have so much to cover. Okay, less than 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on this Friday. Okay, now, President Trump, he's amazing. He had this exchange in the White House yesterday that's causing complete meltdowns. Now, of course, the Prime Minister of Japan was visiting our favorite president yesterday, and a reporter asked a question. I'll play the whole thing, then we'll go back and talk about it. Talk about Iran. Okay, now that to me, that is one of the funniest moments in presidential history. Not just Trump's presidency, I'm talking about in the history of the presidency. I love it. That's beautiful. Now, first of all, just before I get to this in particular, how much of a surprise was the attack on Iran? We had a carrier fleet group to the north, a carrier fleet group to the south for weeks. Obviously, a strike was coming, all right? Now, maybe the size of the strike and the targeting might have caught them off guard, but there was no surprise. And also, if you remember, quoting one of the Democrats' favorite presidents, if not their favorite, Franklin Roosevelt, the surprise and unprovoked attack on Pearl Harbor. Unprovoked. We've been provoked by Iran. No one could put a number how many times they provoked us in the last 47 years, including the 2 times that they tried to assassinate President Trump. But this clip, this Remember Pearl Harbor comment of President Trump's, the report, what's not in that clip is who asked the question. And the way it was immediately presented yesterday is that it was Caitlin Collins from CNN. It was not Caitlin Collins from CNN. It wasn't CNN. It was not even an American. A member of the Japanese Prime Minister's Japanese press corps asked the question. A Japanese reporter asked the President of the United States the most ridiculous question you could possibly ask as a Japanese reporter. Not Japanese American, an actual Japanese reporter from Japan, attacking President Trump for a sneak attack on Iran that really wasn't a sneak attack. And I think President Trump's response not only was hilarious, but actually kind of appropriate, because what he's saying here to this Japanese reporter is, are you out of your mind? Why are you asking me such a stupid question? Japan attacked us. Unprovoked surprise attack. And they're talking about how insensitive he is. What's insensitive about it? The guy asked the question. He's Japanese. How dare he? And there was a lot of talk after the media. Oh, yeah, the media. They didn't like that. They didn't like that. But I know it's pretty funny, isn't it? Remember Pearl Harbor. Even when I was a kid, I used to hear people talk about Remember Pearl Harbor all the time. That was the call sign of the Second World War in the Pacific. Like Remember the Maine, Remember Pearl Harbor, 9/11, never forget. Let's Roll, remember Let's Roll, Beamer, Flight 93. All these things. Remember Pearl Harbor, it's kind of been forgotten, but that used to be a big thing that people said. Even when I was young, like my grandparents and stuff, their generation, you would hear that sometimes. What's wrong with that statement? Now, I don't know how it's playing in Japanese media. They may not even cover it. But I do know this, all this talk in the media yesterday that the Japanese prime minister was so upset. She was with the president, praising President Trump and Barron for the rest of the day throughout the evening last night. So she loves President Trump. Did you see when she got out of the car at the White House? The Japanese prime minister? She didn't bow down like in the Japanese tradition. She gave the president a hug. She's MAGA. Our Japanese prime minister is MAGA. Now, she was taken aback by it, and you'll hear her go, you'll hear her make a noise. Even though she was using a translator, she does speak and understand English a little bit. She understood what the president said before the translator translated it for her. I'll play that, and again, you'll hear her go, And she probably had to do that because she's got a safe face back in Japan. Did you hear that? That's the Japanese prime minister. She's like, Oh my goodness. I think that was a great moment. That'll go down in history. That'll go down in the history books for sure. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take some calls after the bottom of the hour break. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Our number is toll free, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Holy smoke, guys. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. I've talked to listeners of ours that are just, they're just so excited. Some are getting returns for the first time in years and years. Others are getting larger returns than they've ever gotten. Jamie Levac, I told you, he knows the new tax code like no one you will ever meet. Give him a call. He can help you with your taxes no matter where you are located. And remember, with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get your return in as little as 24 hours. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. You can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. We'll be right back. All right, guys, stand by. We have just a little time until we are back. And I want to remind you guys of this great deal from Mike Lindell. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper with my promo code Kane at checkout. Huge savings on this. My wife and I have had ours for years. It is life-changing. It turns your entire bed into a MyPillow. With my promo, it comes in every mattress size too. With my promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you get 30% off the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. You get 2 free MyPillows, 2 free MyPillow pillowcases, and free shipping. It's an incredible deal, the best deal they've ever offered on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. With my promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. You can also order toll-free 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout, guys, okay? Okay, we got about a minute, and we'll be back. Oh, man, so much going on. So much going on. All right. Okay, we got less than a minute, and we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, now, this midterm election season, every signal we get is that we are way, way ahead. And there have been some special elections where Republicans have been overperforming. I'm going to go through just a couple of them. You haven't seen these in the news because the news don't want you to know this, right? That the momentum is in Trump's favor. Now, this first one, you know, those of you South Florida radio listeners may have heard some reference to, because this one's local, but I wanted to share it because it is local, and I'm talking about the Boca Raton race, okay? And the Boca Raton race, this is amazing. It was a 3-way race. There's a runoff going on with the Boca Raton mayor's race. The Democrat won by 1 point. Okay? By one, when I say 1 point, I misspoke. I meant 1 vote. The Democrat won by 1 vote. And that's only because there were 2 Republicans in the race, and they split the Republican vote. And about 11,500 Republican votes were received in the Boca Raton mayor's race, and 7,568 votes were received by the Democrats. So we overperformed the Republicans by 13 points in the Boca mayor's race. Now, to these idiot Republicans that are running, get your act together and don't split the vote, stupid. I'm sorry. What are they thinking? You know, they have this debate over the Veterans Park, and I get it. You know, I live in Boca, and I support these people that don't want high-rises built in Boca. But, you know, you can't stop progress, and eventually, sadly, it'll be that way. It breaks my heart every time I go to Fort Lauderdale, and that our great, perfect, best beach town ever in the history of Florida, Fort Lauderdale, looks like Miami in the 80s now, with all the high-rises. But this is only one of a couple of races I'm going to talk about this morning. But this Boca Raton race, we had we would have won it if we didn't have 2 Republicans on the ballot like idiots. One of them should have dropped out, but you know, whatever. But we'll win it in the end with this runoff. But think about it. I mean, this turnout, this is a major upset. Now, we've had a Republican mayor for a little bit in Boca, but Boca historically has been a Democrat town. And not only is it MAGA, it's hardcore MAGA. The Republican vote has overwhelmingly just canceled out the Democrat vote, as we can see in this Boca Raton mayor's race. This is a Democrat stronghold in one of the Democrat strongholds of Florida, Palm Beach County. Also, it's significant that Boca has a large Jewish population, and the Jews have been magatized. We talk about red pilling. So many Jews have been red pilled. A major sign of how things are going as we're in this midterm election year. I have others we'll get to. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John, and I'm from California.
John in California, what's on your mind?
I mean, I got to ask, man.
Okay, now stop for a second. Stop for a second. I want to talk to the audience. Don't lose your thought, okay? What is it with all these Democrat callers that want to interview me? Every Democrat caller I get all start the same way. I got a question for you. I want to ask you something. All right, go ahead, California.
Well, you're assuming I'm a Democrat. I actually voted for Trump, just to let you know.
Of course, probably so 3 times. I bet you voted for him 3 times, right?
No, I voted for him once.
When?
Oh, last election.
Awesome. Okay, what's on your mind? Hold on, let me answer these other lines coming in the phone. Yeah, go ahead.
How's that no new wars policy going for you? How are all those problems going?
See, this is okay. Slow down a second. No new wars. This is the guy who claims to have voted for Trump using an MSNBC, CNN lying talking point. President Trump never said no new wars.
That's what he said.
No, it's not.
He said that. It's
no,
not
he didn't.
CNN point. That's what he said.
He did not say it. He didn't say it.
Yes, he did. That was one of those campaign promises.
No, it wasn't. This is what he said. I'm going to tell you what he said. I'm going to tell you what he said. Our MAGA California caller. He said this, okay? And then, but don't run away, because I want to have I'm going to try to have a conversation with you. All right? What he said was, in the last campaign for the 2024, he said, in my first term, I am the first president since the Second World War not to start a new war, and I promise you, no more forever wars. No more forever wars, not no new wars. He said no more forever wars. You can't make a promise never to have a war. What if we're attacked? Well, I said no new wars, so attack us. That's stupid, right? Doesn't even make sense. Your response?
No, the intent of the war is to make America great again. I mean, do you see us making it great again where Israel's lapdog? I mean, you're proud of that. So I get all MAGA loves Israel. They love the Jews.
Well, wait a minute. I thought a minute ago you told me you were MAGA. Now you're saying all MAGA love the Jews. You know,
I voted for Trump expecting change. I'm always down to change.
You voted for Trump. I know. I can tell you're a big Trump voter. Excuse me.
Those boots good.
Give me an example of Trump licking the boots of Netanyahu.
Really? What about the endless money that we give them, the military aid, undying support?
Slow down for a second. Slow down for a second. You are correct in that we give aid to Israel. And the money that we give to Israel has a major condition on the money. Do you know what that condition is?
What is that condition? Explain it.
We give a lot of money to Israel with one condition. The money must be spent in the United States. So the money that we give Israel is for them to buy military equipment, and they must buy our military equipment. The money never leaves the country. It stays in the economy. That's why the Israelis fly American jets and have American weapons and such. It doesn't leave the country. It stays here.
So the taxpayer dollars are going to Boeing, actually, right?
Well, that's an American company that employs Americans working in the arms industry in the United States. So yeah, it never leaves the country. The money.
I think that money
you learned something, didn't you? How's it feel? How's it feel to learn something? Don't you feel better now? You learned something.
No, I already knew that before.
No, you didn't. I asked you. I just asked you, and you didn't know. You wanted me to tell you. Get off the phone. Get off the phone, you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, he knew that already. He knew that. Oh my goodness. See what I mean about these Democrat callers? You know, how long did it take before you knew? He said, oh, you assume I'm a Democrat. Yes, I don't assume. I know you're a Democrat, and I can tell in all kinds of ways. Listen to this. So I'm talking about races around the country, special elections, off-year elections here and such, that are indications that we are doing well so far as the midterm elections. And I was telling you the Republican turnout in Boca Raton was fantastic. Listen to this one. In Texas, in a town called Grand Prairie, like Little House on the Prairie, Grand Prairie, Texas, City Council, they had an at-large runoff. Listen to this. Not only did the Republican win 51.1 to the Democrats 48.9, this is a district where Kamala Harris won in the last presidential election. Okay, so you can, all these, by the way, are on my X at Brian Craig Show. You can look up this information. Grand Prairie, Texas, City Council. Okay, the Republican won. Okay. Kamala Harris won that district in the presidential election by 21 points. And we won it by a few points, which means that in this district, in this Democrat town, in this Democrat area, this Democrat precinct, this Democrat city, that Kamala Harris won by 21 points, the Republican outperformed the Democrat by 23 points using the Kamala outcome as a measure. Don't you see what's going on here? What's going on here is we're winning. But there's more. That's right. Virginia, listen to this. The Virginia House of Delegates, District 98, the Republican won 64.8% to the Democrats' 35.2%. Now, this district, President Trump won by 14.6 points. But since we won by almost 30 points, the Republicans outperformed by 15 points in that district. There's an old saying, I don't follow polls and such too much. What I follow is the trend. And there's an old saying, you'll hear Steve use this a lot when I do this, the trend is my friend. I'm looking at the trend. And all the trends have everything in this is Virginia. Republican outperformed by 15 points, special election, right? So the trend is all in our favor. And it's in our favor by a lot. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Brian. Mike from Coral Springs. How are you?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, listen, that was funny, man. with that pseudo MAGA Trump voter you just
California
had on.
MAGA? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love, and you're right. I was listening to what you said, and then, you can tell they start off immediately subtly confrontational.
Yes.
Like the opening line is, let me ask you something.
Exactly.
And
if you guys listen really carefully, you'll hear me talk to Mike the board op. Sometimes you'll hear me say, "Oh, get ready, Mike. Here we go." You ever hear me say that? In the background.
Yes. Yeah.
that means make sure the delay is on. Is what that means.
Right.
It's always on.
Right. Something, and actually, this isn't what I called for, but you were talking earlier about how nasty these SOBs are on the other side. And I'm sure you heard about the story of, I think is it Sarah Huckabee?
Yes.
Sandra Huckabee that got kicked out of the restaurant.
Because the staff felt uncomfortable at her presence. The governor of the state comes in and they're uncomfortable.
Right. But they weren't uncomfortable enough not to take her money or let her finish her meal. You know.
This is the thing. Okay. Sarah Huckabee should not go to restaurants, period. Remember, she had a problem in Washington when she was the spokesperson for the president in the first term. What was that restaurant, the Red Hen or something? They wouldn't serve her. You know, when you're a Republican, unless you're going to Wings Plus in Coral Springs or one of our radio station restaurant sponsors, you can't let them know. I mean, I don't wear my MAGA hat, and when I go to Starbucks every day, I leave my MAGA hat in the car, and I wear a jacket to cover up my MAGA shirt, right? Because they'll give me decaf. And if you go to a restaurant, who knows what like I see. I go to Chipotle a lot, and there's a lot of cops that go there. You know why cops go to Chipotle and not other restaurants?
No.
Because they can see them make the food.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they don't
that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And, I think the same thing about people, that put their pro-Trump signage on their cars.
Oh, it's crazy.
Now, I got no problem. I will tell you all day long, right to your face, how pro-Trump I am. But I will not risk one of these lunatic SOBs keying my car or flattening a tire or something, because they will do it.
Well, in the 2020 election, I had a "Make America Great Again" flag hanging off the front of my house above the garage, and some Democrat in my neighborhood kidnapped one of my cats, and I had missing cat photos up all over it. They called me and told me they did it because of the flag, because I'm MAGA.
Really?
Yeah. Can you believe that? Psychotic.
They admitted to it.
They called me anonymously with the blocked number and told me.
Oh, okay. I got you.
What a lowlife. Yeah. One of my neighbors.
Yeah, they are. They're disgusting. They are just disgusting. Anyway, that's not why I called. I called actually to ask, why are not these judges and people running for various city councils and such like this, why are they not forced to reveal their party affiliation?
In Florida, I don't know how it is in other states, but in Florida, that's just the law, and it's disgusting. You don't want to vote for Democrats for judges. You want to vote for Republicans. And I wish, Ron DeSantis has done great stuff, okay, as governor, no doubt about it. We have open carry, constitutional carry. He's trying to get rid of property taxes on the homestead, all that. But that's a big one. Party affiliation for judges should be right there. I leave judges blank a lot because if I don't know who they are, I don't want to vote for a Democrat by mistake. It's criminal.
Yeah. If they won't reveal what party they're on, they shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Agreed.
Give up. Either way, either one or the other. In the situations where I've been online in Coral Springs to go into the main library to vote. These guys come along asking, trying to get your vote for various different things. And I ask them, what party are you with? Before they even get going, say, what party you belong to? So, well, I can't tell you that. I'm
going to give you a rule of thumb, okay? This is for Coral Springs. Wings Plus, the sample, both locations of Wings Plus are sponsors of this program and have been for a long time. And the Sample Road location is where Brian Walsh, the owner, is at all the time. And that's where that's the seat of politics in South Florida. And there's always campaign signs up and everything else. You can always check in with Brian over at Wings Plus on who the good guys and the bad guys are. He always knows when it comes to the local elections in Coral Springs. Wings Plus, Sample Road location. Yeah. Listen, I got to run. I'm very late for the break, but I appreciate the call.
Yeah, enjoy the show.
All right, take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. It is open phones on Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, stand by. It is Open Phones on Friday, Open Mega Mike Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. The number's pinned in the live chat. Now, I will be live streaming from the cruise next week, okay? So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you have the notification bell clicked so you get the notification when I go live on the cruise. And if there's major news, I'll be able to break in on the radio as well. But I will be here on YouTube next week on the cruise, okay? From somewhere out on a ship at sea, or maybe I'll be in port, who knows? So make sure you keep an eye out for that. Okay, about 30 seconds. Call us on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones when we get back. We're in radio station break still. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug. What's up?
Well, first thing I want to say is bon voyage. You're leaving, right? And hope you have nice weather and have a great trip. Anyway, the other thing is, the other day when Pete Hegseth said no quarter, the Democrats right away turned around and said, oh, he's saying he wants to kill the enemy even if they surrender. Well, I said that doesn't make any sense. I don't think he would say something like that, especially when President Trump said he'll give amnesty to anybody who surrenders. Anyway, so
exactly.
I know. By the way, I know that the liberals were going to say to me exactly that. So I looked it up, and the dictionary says no quarter means no pity and no mercy. That's it. It doesn't say anything about killing anybody if they surrender. So the damn Democrats. Typical thing, though, you have to watch exactly what you say and make sure you explain it.
Didn't you love it when the president said to that Japanese reporter yesterday, remember Pearl Harbor? That was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was a great line, man. He just came up with that. Fantastic. That was without a doubt. Man, oh, man, she was sitting right down there. She understood, but...
Yeah, she understood. She understood.
It certainly made everybody start.
Hey, Doug. All right, hey, Doug. I'll talk to you when I get back. I appreciate the call. Yeah, I mean that was one of the greatest moments of Trump. Yeah, I love it. I like people that don't get captured. Remember Pearl Harbor? You're talking to me about Sikh attacks. You know about them more than me. I mean, this is just great. I love it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Tony from San Diego.
Hey, San Diego. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. So, I got to know, are you America first?
Always.
Really? So then why are you supporting the war in Iran?
Well, I could go through...
Tell me as an ex-service member, former Marine,
yes,
why you think this war is worth
Former
fighting
Marine? I was under the impression once a Marine, always a Marine.
Yeah, former Marine. I no longer am a Marine.
All the Marines I know, I've never heard them say former Marine. They always say I'm a Marine. But, hey, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they don't pay me anymore. I don't show up to my ROTC camps and nothing like that.
ROTC? You were an ROTC? Or were you in the Marines? Okay, so you asked me, okay, am I America first? So why am I supporting this war with Iran? That's your question, correct? Former Marine?
Yeah.
Okay. I could give you a long list of acts of war.
You could.
Excuse me. I could give you a long list of acts of war that Iran has committed against the United States, but I'm only going to give you one.
I want you to defend.
I'm going to give you.
First.
Excuse me for speaking while you're interrupting. I'm going to give you 2 reasons where they've committed acts of war against us. The president said early last week that on 2 occasions, Iran tried to assassinate him. I know of one myself that is not widely known, that I stumbled upon quite by accident. But the Iranians tried to assassinate a president of the United States twice. That's an act of war. Is it not?
Can you prove it?
President
because
Trump,
he
yes.
almost got assassinated in Butler, right? He almost got assassinated in Butler.
No, it wasn't Butler. It wasn't Butler.
Real quick.
It wasn't Butler. President Trump said, excuse me, can I prove it? President Trump said last week that they tried to assassinate him twice.
And he's a liar. He's always been
a liar. A liar? What'd you do in the Marines?
Just like you.
What'd you do in the Marines?
I was a motor pool specialist.
A motor pool specialist. Oh, boy. Great. Great. And the ROTC, you said, or the Marines? Listen, you do believe that if a foreign nation tries to assassinate a president, it's an act of war, correct? You agree with that?
There is no proof of an assassination. That is just him talking out his ass. So that's a lie.
Excuse me, first time of the day, Mike. Profanity. Now, I'll tell you guys quickly, one of the assassination attempts, I believe, was this particular time that the Iranians did. And I came across this one by accident on a live stream on YouTube. This was during the president's first term. I can't remember what year this was, but it was New Year's Day, and the president was in town, and they had a big New Year's party at Mar-a-Lago, and I woke up early on New Year's Day. Wasn't on the air that day. We were off. And those of you that were following me at the time caught this live on YouTube. I said, you know what? I did a live stream on YouTube to take all of you to go see Air Force One at the Palm Beach Airport. And it had been a big, the New Year's party at Mar-a-Lago was huge. Huge. God, do any of you remember this story? And this is, and I don't know if I kept this on YouTube because it may not be there still because of this, but I may still have it there. But you guys watch and remember. It was New Year's Day, the first of the year. I don't remember what year it was. And I said, I'm going to take you, let's go see Air Force One. And this New Year's party that the president had at Mar-a-Lago was all over the news. It was such an exciting party. I go up there live on YouTube. Air Force One was gone. Gone. It was barely light out New Year's Day. It was gone. And I thought, well, maybe they moved it to another part of the airport. I drove around the complete perimeter of the airport. Air Force One was gone. Air Force One cannot be gone if the president's there. Something happened and they flew him out. And it was never reported in the news. And I just happened to catch it by accident, covering it on YouTube for you guys that follow me there. Remember that? But if a foreign nation tries to assassinate, and they kept these things classified for whatever reason, when a foreign nation tries to assassinate any president, I don't care who they are, it's an act of war. And they try to do it with him twice. And not only do I agree with that, President Clinton, the first action that he took using the military was a major attack on Iraq. President H.W. Bush, in the first weeks of Bill Clinton's first term, traveled to Kuwait, and Saddam tried to assassinate him. And Bill Clinton bombed the daylights out of Iraq over that. And then they stopped. But they tried with Trump twice. Call is on hold. You stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones every Friday. The show prep is up to you and the listening audience, okay? You can call in about any and everything on your mind. Please, no profanity. But these liberals can't contain themselves. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with your calls and much more. Back right after this break. All right, we got a couple minutes till we're back. If you're on hold, stand by. We're still in radio break. Now, that Epstein book that you hear me talking about, the Epstein investigation, there's a direct link in the description of the video. It's a very good book. I'm going to be reading it on the cruise. I started reading it. It's very good, but I'm going to read it, the rest of it on the cruise this week. It's available in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover, and is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. TEI, the Epstein investigation. Direct link in the description of the video. And again, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. All right, we got about a little more than a minute, and we'll be back. My wife got me these two big things of Twizzlers, and I'm taking one of them on the cruise, and I popped one open this morning. I can't stop eating it. I'll show you. I love Twizzlers, so my wife got me, they were buy one, get one free. So I'm taking one on the cruise with me. Oh my goodness. I love Twizzlers, man. A little more than 30 seconds and we'll be back. Twizzlers are awesome. We all have our vices. 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to take that unopened one with me. The one that's opened, I'll leave home. All right, the 7 o'clock hour has begun. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Bruce from Iowa.
Hey, Iowa. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was calling to see if the tariffs. I work at a Ford dealership in central Iowa, and I've had a lot of people complaining about the prices of our vehicles and stuff, and I didn't know what to say.
Where do you work? Where do you work?
I work at a Ford dealership in central Iowa.
So you sell Fords? Or work at a dealership that sells Fords? Well, the answer is, where are the Fords made?
Well, they're made pretty much in Canada.
Well, that's the problem.
A lot of the plants are in Canada.
Well, that's the problem. Where in Canada are they from? Where in Canada, do you know?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it's like Windsor
here's the thing.
Somewhere.
There's no tariffs if it's made in the United States. So if the Fords are made at a factory in the United States, and we have Ford factories in the U.S., I'm sure of it, you know, there's no tariffs on American-made vehicles, only on foreign-made vehicles. So the Ford needs to move those factories back.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something. Customers, if they were smart, tariffs on cars are good for customers.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think I say that? If I go into a dealership and I'm looking to buy a car, why is the tariff on a car good for me as a customer? Why do you think?
I'm not exactly sure
why.
Well,
I walk into your Ford dealership. I'm going to buy a new Ford. You've told me they're made in Canada. I'm going to make the tariffs a good thing for me as a buyer. How do you think I'm going to do that? What do you think I'm going to? How will I make as a buyer of a car made in Canada in your Ford dealership? How is that to my advantage as a customer looking to buy a new car?
How is it?
It's negotiation. It's negotiation.
I got you.
You know, listen. Down the street, I could go down the street and buy a Hyundai that's made at a factory here in the United States. There's no tariffs involved in that price. You know, so I'm just going to go there and buy the Hyundai. Unless you drop the price and take off the tariff. If you take off whatever the tariff is, I don't know how much a tariff is on a car. Let's say it's $5,000. Drop the price $5,000. I'm not paying for tariffs because you guys are making your cars in Canada. I'm going to go over to the Hyundai dealership. There's no tariff on that. It was made in North Carolina. See, so to a customer, the tariffs are a good thing on cars. What do you think? Hello? McFly? He didn't think that one through. See, there's another fake conservative guy. And by the way, he was Canadian. That's why I asked where in Canada, because I heard a slight Canadian accent at the very, very beginning of his call. And if you go back and replay it, you'll hear it too. But he hung up before I got to that part. I was going to get to that next. But, you know, these Trump haters, I tell you, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. You missed your chance. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. These Trump haters, if you noticed, I've gotten 2 already today. The first one claimed he was MAGA. The other one is fake Iowan, right, who's Canadian, and trying to get some narrative going about how tariffs are bad. And tariffs, if you're smart, can work to your advantage in many, many situations. Now, there was a poll I saw this morning. This is a beautiful, beautiful poll. And, you know, as I said in the last hour, it's very important. I'm not a big poll follower. I'm really not, and I have not been over the years, and those of you that are longtime listeners of the program have heard me talk about this. What I follow with the polls involving elections is the trend, not what the actual poll numbers are as much, because I just, you know, but I follow the trend of the polls, and the trend of the polls is what the real indicator is. And I came across this poll of Republicans. Listen to this. This is a JL Partners poll. Among Republicans, do you agree with Trump or Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly on foreign policy views? Now, of course, Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly they're anti-Semites. They hate Israel, and they're this war for Israel and all this stuff, right? This was the question. This was a poll of only Republicans. Do you agree with Trump or Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly on foreign policy views? 84% of Republicans say they agree with Trump. 6% say they agree with Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly. Right there. Boom. So Tucker and Megyn Kelly have no influence. They're not moving the needle at all. MAGA strong all day, all night. You know, a lot of people ask me sometimes on the phone, why are you always talking about these other radio hosts and influencers and stuff? And the reason is I was concerned that they were destroying our MAGA movement. And these polls like this one, the one I had from CNN yesterday, 100% MAGA support for Trump, 90% MAGA support the war effort in Iran. You know, it shows me I'm not worried now. You're not going to hear me talking about them as much as I was. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Chicago. Chris.
Okay, hold on, Chicago. Hold on, let me answer all these lines. All right, Chris in Chicago, what say you?
How you doing, Brian? I'm worried about why you never talk about like the economy, how Trump is doing 59% negative in the economy right now. You got
I don't know what that means.
26. Well, right now, Trump approval rating when it comes to the economy, according to CNN, is right now 59% negative approval rating when it comes to the economy. 59% of Americans right now don't believe in Trump when it comes to the economy. Right now, we got 26% increase in foreclosures in the month of January under Trump's economy. You never talk about none of that. Right now, inflation has increased in the month of January and February. You don't talk about any of that. Like, why don't you never mention the economy?
Well, it's not. I talk about the economy a lot. The last caller before you was concerned about the tariffs on cars at his Ford dealership, and I explained to him how the tariffs are a positive for both the
high tax. How can a tax be a positive?
I want to explain to you what I explained to him. You missed the call. The guy that claimed he was
no,
from
I did, no. You don't have to go. I heard you, but
okay,
explain to me how can a tax, an overall tax, it's an overall tax on a vehicle. How can that be a positive?
You said you heard the call. Did you hear my answer? If I'm going into a car dealership, okay, to buy a car, and that car is not made in the United States, and there's a tariff, I'm going to tell the salesman that they need to knock that off the car right now. Need to mark it off the car right now, or I'm going to go across the street. And they will. They'll do it. And by the way, that helps me as the buyer because I got the price down. It helps the salesman because he's going to get a commission, and it helps the dealer because they got a car off the lot. So that's how the tariff is positive.
But let me tell you right now, I work for a manufacturing plant. It's tariffs on all vehicles, regardless if they're made in the U.S. or not, because it's the parts that's imported.
Well,
that's what causes tariffs on vehicles.
Well, that's a good thing for the same reason I just told you.
All parts can be made in the U.S. All parts cannot be made in the U.S. That would never happen again.
Excuse me. Here's another thing you don't understand, okay? This is how it's a positive, all right? Open up your closed mind for a second. Listen to this. So you say because of the parts, there's some tariff on each vehicle because some of the parts might be made elsewhere, okay? But if the car, even though the parts may be made in Japan, as an example, if the car itself is made in the United States, right? If the car itself is made in the United States, assembled in the United States at a U.S. plant, but all the parts are made elsewhere, if I go out and buy that car, I can deduct the interest on the loan off of my taxes for the very first time because of President Trump's big, beautiful bill.
You don't understand. These taxes wouldn't be there if Trump would have never.
No. You don't understand. Do you have a car that's financed?
No, not at this current time. No, I paid it off.
Okay, but a lot of people do. But you paid it off. It used to be financed. For the very first time this year, because of President Trump, you can deduct off of your taxes the interest on a car loan of a car that's made in the United States. By the way, that means assembled in the United States. Like as an example, in Louisiana, they make Lexus and Toyotas. There's many Lexus and Toyota plants in Louisiana. Those parts may be made in Japan, but since the car's assembled in Louisiana, and even though it's a Toyota or a Lexus, I can deduct all the interest from that auto loan off of my taxes for the very first time. So you're saving money.
Like I say, I'm not knocking some of the good things.
Well, no. Is that a good thing? So don't you understand?
I said I'm not knocking some of the good things about the bill. That's a good thing. That promotes, you know what I'm saying? Like you say, if it's an American car,
so tariffs are a good thing.
No, not tariffs. That's a tax on the American people. I'm not saying that, and you know that's the case.
No, it's not. Because I'm telling that Ford dealer that's making his cars in Canada that if he doesn't knock that tariff off, I'm not buying the car. I'm going across the street where there's no tariff.
But the manufacturing on cars is not coming back to the U.S. tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Today, the American people are suffering. You got 26% increase in foreclosures right now in the month of January. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, then
right now, inflation and food.
Do you know what the number one? Do you know what the number one reason for foreclosures are?
I don't know. Why do you think? People losing their jobs. You got 92,000 people lost their jobs.
You're getting hysterical. The number one reason for foreclosure. What do you think? A foreclosed home?
Because people lose their jobs. People are losing their jobs. That's the number one reason.
Okay, let me give you let me word it another way. My wife and I have lived in the same house for over 20 years. I have a small house, okay? It's a very small house. My daughter's grown up and moved out. It's just my wife and I, so it's okay. But I bought this house over 20 years ago. I could afford to go out and buy a bigger house in a much nicer neighborhood that's brand new. Why do you think I don't do that?
Because of the cost of living. I mean, you're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? You're financially stable.
Yeah. So why do you think I don't do it?
Because, I mean, you comfortable where you at. I mean, I'm not.
No. It's because financially, it's a smart move. Why upgrade? Why upgrade if I don't need to or have to? Because I'm smart. I live within my means. The number one reason for foreclosures are people buying a home Beyond their means.
People overspending.
That's right.
I understand that.
They buy a home they really can't afford.
But right now,
that's correct.
But right now,
they buy a home they can't afford. So why is it my fault? Why is it Trump's fault? Why is it Trump's fault?
No.
If you buy a house you can't afford and it gets foreclosed on, why is that Trump's fault?
Can I talk?
Respond to what I said.
The reason why it's Trump's fault is because right now you got people losing their health care at a high rate under Trump.
No.
You got people right now, the economy.
That's not true.
Hold on. No, hold on.
That's not true.
Right now, it is because of the AA subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. That's why
They're
people
cutting
losing
off.
their health
We're
care.
cutting off the illegals that have no right to have those benefits. Same thing with the jobs.
I understand, but
there's a gain in jobs. The reason that the statistics show a loss of jobs is not because actual jobs have been lost. It's because the deportations. They're count every deportee
so why do we have
is a job.
Why do we have an increase in unemployment applications? It's not the illegals filing for unemployment.
I don't know. I don't know
Americans
that
filing
is.
for
I don't know that to be true. I've not seen that story. Listen, I'm late for the break. I got to run, Chicago, but I appreciate the call. Okay, it's Trump's fault if someone buys a house they can't afford. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Please, live within your means. I have 2 cars, right? We've got one brand new car, and then I got one car that I use for my Home Depot runs. I'll probably take it to the port and leave it parked in the port all week. That's 15 years old. I could go out and have a brand new car for myself. You know, I could go out and buy a Cadillac today, right? But I'm not. You've got to be financially responsible. Buy what you can afford and live within your means. I live within my means. Oh, man. Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm so excited. I am so excited. You know, there's nothing like putting on a pair of pants that's inches smaller than what you used to wear. When I was packing last weekend for the cruise, and I was putting on some of the things I only wear once a year, twice a year, for the cruise, like some of my swimsuits and some of my shorts. Some of my shorts and one pair of my swimsuit fell off my body. Even with the string, I couldn't tie it. I couldn't tie the swimming trunks tight enough to stay on my body. Losing inches on your waistline feels so good. Thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I did all of this without working out, without any surgery, eating foods I would normally eat, without going hungry, without shots, without pills. Did it all naturally, and I kept all the weight off. Call Coastal Weight Loss Secret right now. You can do it too, I promise you. No matter how much you want, if you want to lose 450 pounds or more, or 25 pounds, and anywhere in between, Coastal Weight Loss Secret, you can do it. And you can keep the weight off. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, we are still in radio station break for a little bit. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll free, and it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Guys, please do me the favor of liking the video. Liking the video helps people find this video and have it recommended to them that have not yet found my channel. So liking the video is so, so helpful. So please like the video. And if you see that hype option become available to you after you like the video, if you take advantage of that as well, that helps too. Okay, so liking the video is so important, guys, to grow the channel. It really does help me out a lot. That's right. Oh, man, if you're on hold, stand by just over a minute, and we shall be back. Pretty good calls today. I love these Democrat callers giving me some grief. I love it. Hang in there. Less than a minute, and we'll be back. Oh, man. Show's flying by. We're halfway through. We've hit the halfway point. Almost. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jerome from California. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing all right, Jerome.
You doing all right? I don't think so. It sounds like all the callers are giving you a hard time today, man.
Okay. I don't know what show you're listening to.
When did you become a shill for...
When did I become a what?
A shill for Israel.
I don't understand what that means or how I'm doing whatever that is. A shill for Israel?
Yeah, that's what you are. You're a coward and a shill.
A coward?
Yeah. You're also a cuck for a pedophile.
Okay, there we go. All right. Third dump of the day. Third dump of the day, Mike. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by while we wait for the delay to re-engage. You know, a caller, you know, this is really amazing to me. You know, I began the show right after 6 o'clock talking about how these liberal guys that call me are so dysfunctional, so messed up and all that stuff, right? And one of the reasons I did that was hoping that the liberal callers would raise the bar a little bit and attempt to have a real conversation. And I must tell you, a couple of them have. The guy that called me from Chicago about the tariffs, that was a great conversation. We disagreed at the beginning of the call, we disagreed at the end, but we talked about the issues. But still some of them out there, they can handle it. Oh my goodness. Let me, I'm going to play that after the break. I had some audio I want to play. I am very behind on the break schedule, okay? The calls have been so good today. I've gone late on every break. And when that happens, you get into a traffic jam. So I'm going to break the bottleneck by having an incredibly short segment. My apologies to you in the audience. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break on time, come back with your calls and more. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
On the line, we have Lewis. He had some issues with some taxes in past years, and he called Jamie LeeZep over at Swift Tax, and Jamie took good care of him. Lewis, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. So tell me how Jamie from Swift Tax helped you on your taxes.
I was having trouble with another company. I called Jamie in. The next day, I brought my wife in there with all the paperwork, and he straightened all my back taxes out. I'm actually getting money back now.
Wow, this is pretty amazing. So this other company you went to told you you owed the government money, and Jamie over at Swift Tax took a look and found out that not only did you not owe money, you're getting money back from the government?
Yes, I got a nice big check coming soon.
Do what Lewis did. Call Jamie LeeZep over at Swift Tax. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. What would you do if telling the truth cost you everything? Jesse Rawson was a successful HR manager at the Hustler Casino. His career was on track until he uncovered secrets that put him at a crossroads. Stay silent and protect his future, or speak up and risk losing it all. He chose the truth in his powerful and must-read book, Fighting the Workplace Mob. Available on Amazon, author Jesse Rawson shares his personal story of courage, faith, and standing up against corruption in the workplace. After losing his career, he found something even greater: purpose, strength, and a deeper relationship with God. Fighting the Workplace Mob is an inspiring true story, revealing what happens when you refuse to participate in what the Bible calls the worthless deeds of
Thank you for that super chat.
integrity, no matter the cost. If you've ever faced
I'm a bit something.
if you've ever been afraid to speak up, or if you're searching for strength during difficult times, Fighting the Workplace Mob is your next must-read book. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Stand up, speak truth, fight back the right way. Fighting the Workplace Mob, from author Jesse Rawson, on Amazon. There are stories the media talks about, and then there are stories they never fully explain. Jeffrey Epstein is one of those stories. You know the name, you know the headlines, but do you really know how it all worked? From cybersecurity expert and author Cody Churchwell comes a serious, fact-driven investigation at how Epstein built his operation, who enabled it, and how the system failed the victims. And he's released the results of that research in his book, TEI, The Epstein Investigation, available on Amazon. TEI doesn't deal in rumors. It deals in documented facts, court filings, financial records, and the real timeline behind one of the biggest scandals of our time. How did it happen? Who looked the other way? And how did power and influence protect one man for so long? Find out when you read TEI. The Investigation. If you're someone who believes the truth matters more than ever, this is your next must-read book. Order your copy right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The real story isn't what you saw in the news. It's in TEI, The Epstein Investigation. Cody Churchwell on Amazon. Share the link to the book on all your social media so your friends can read it too. TEI, from author Cody Churchwell on Amazon.
All right, now that TEI, the Epstein investigation, the direct link is in the description of the video, and it is free on Kindle Unlimited, also available in regular Kindle, paperback, and hardcover edition. The link is in the description. Great book. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Okay, we're back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jerry in Fort Lauderdale.
All right, Jerry in Fort Lauderdale, speak up. What's on your mind?
You spoke the other day of the Soviet method of creating dissent. There used to be a radio show in the 50s called I Was a Communist for the FBI. And it had this FBI guy go undercover and try to, he was actually a member of the Communist Party as far as the communists were concerned.
Oh, okay.
And yes, every scenario was, they didn't have social media back then, but every scenario was they infiltrated like a labor union or teachers thing or something at everyday society.
Well, I would say that their mission failed because the teachers' union's 100% communist today, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, the FBI guy's mission failed for sure.
What part of Fort Lauderdale, hold on one second while I answer all these lines that are coming in. What part of Fort Lauderdale are you in?
Hello?
Oh, no, I got the lines mixed up. I'll ask you, what part of Fort Lauderdale are you in?
Near the beach.
I got to tell you, what's gone on during spring break this year, it's like a police state down there on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
Oh, I try to avoid that. Yeah, I try to avoid it.
You know, I used to go down. I was too young for the college spring break. When they ended it, I was in high school. But me and my friends, we used to all go down there because the college girls didn't care that we were in high school, right? But I'm looking at I've never seen it like this. The police presence.
Really?
Those metal gates on the sidewalk down A1A.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I think they're trying to run the spring breakers out again.
Oh, it could be.
I don't know.
They tried it in the 80s.
And they did it. And they destroyed the beach because they destroyed the economy down there. But it doesn't look like a pleasant place to. I think they're trying to discourage them from coming. Right? Because it doesn't look like fun during spring break down there. It's not like the old days. Anyway, all right. I appreciate the call. Take care. Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie. What's up, Richie?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, I want to. The guy that just called about the tariffs, and you said they're good thing.
They can be. Yeah,
man,
sure.
Man, I'm going to explain something to this young man with the automobile industry. I'm a little older than he is. Back before 1970.
A little older,
in
Richie?
the United States.
Yes.
You didn't see. The only thing you saw back was a Volkswagen Beetle. You didn't see other cars. You saw all American, and all the money was going to Detroit, Michigan, where we were manufacturing automobiles.
Motor City.
All of a sudden, you start. Yeah, all of a sudden, and he's talking about the jobs, losing the jobs, and the tariffs are a tax. He has to have a little patience because what President Trump is trying to do is bring everything back into our country where workers make money.
Correct.
When you buy a Toyota or a Lexus, you know where the basis of that money goes? To Japan, man.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy a Mercedes, it goes to Germany.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, and you don't see American cars in Germany. You see Mercedes taxis. This guy doesn't even understand economics. The bottom line is that everything left this country, and Vice President Vance, he said that where he came from, it was all gutted. The factories were all closed up. We have everything went in North Carolina. You used to be able to go down there in the 50s.
Well, I give an example, like JD Vance. I'm originally from Ohio. I know he's originally from Kentucky, but JD grew up in Ohio, and I'm originally from Ohio. And there was a big factory in the middle of Columbus, which I think was a Westinghouse factory when I was a kid. And I had an uncle that worked there, and a lot of people, big factory. And now it's an Indian casino. It's a casino now, not a factory. There used to be factory, and factory jobs were good-paying jobs where you could have no education beyond high school and have a great career, making a good living. And you just can't do that anymore. Working at retail your whole life is not the same type of income. And the tariffs, you're right. Everybody knows this, Richie, except these brain-dead liberals. The tariffs are to bring jobs back here.
Yeah, but the problem is that they're impatient. They want immediate gratification.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You got factories being built right now all over the country that are going to come online. You just don't wave a magic wand and say, here's your job. He's trying to protect American workers. He's not trying to. What do you think this big union guy? I forgot his name. You know, the one that AFL-CIO. I think.
Yeah, I can't. Trunka.
Yeah. Well, no. The Irish gentleman, the head of the United Auto Workers.
I can't think of his name offhand.
Yeah, the bald-headed guy. They never went Republican before. Now he's going Republican. He sees the picture. The picture is people have to get patience. They want, in other words, the war is going on for two and a half weeks, and we lost 13 guys. It hasn't won. Every loss of life is important, but they're just doing it because people are brain dead and they think they got an advantage. It's political. They don't understand. In World War II, how long did it go on? How many Americans died in World War II?
I got a book. I bought a book I read many years ago. It was Patton's book on the Second World War. And the book, General Bradley, who was Patton's best friend, had gotten a hold of Patton's diary and published it. And it's Patton's diary during the war. And all it is how many people we lost every day. Patton, just in Patton's army, he was losing over 5,000 a day. A day. We got 13 guys. In this air campaign of 3 weeks, and they're having freakouts.
And they had freakouts after 1 week. Mm-hmm. But it's a political thing. They're trying to say, look, we're losing men. They're not men. Let me tell you something. Once in a while, you have to take a stand and fight for your country. You just
and Richie, let's be honest. The Iranians got a lucky shot with that one hit in the beginning where we lost those guys. The thing over Iraq was a midair collision. The left and the media got real excited because an F-35 U.S. jet had some problem over Iran yesterday. And it landed. Nobody was hurt. But they're trying to give it, they're trying to act like Iran shot something down. They're so excited to try to get an American loss.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not just that. They were excited. They think that, look, you by mistake, you might have hit a school of little girls. But they didn't tell you about 32,000 people dead in 2 days, that they were exterminated by these Hitler-type people that it's crazy. You don't, and this immediate danger, that's another talking point of the Democratic Party. What does it take? You're going to sit back and wait?
By the way, did you hear the guy? Did you hear the guy that claimed he was a former Marine, and then he slipped and said he was an ROTC?
Yeah,
oh my goodness! What is it with these liberal callers, man?
The whole thing is a total joke. And I'm going to say this: I'm not in Vietnam. I can understand why people were upset. 350 people a week were being posted on CBS. They were at the end of Walter Cronkite's show. He would run a list like Hannity used to do of all the dead Americans for that week, and it got to people.
Well, wait a minute, though. But Richie, there's a difference, though. Okay, there's a lot of differences between Vietnam and this. But there's a lot of differences. But I just want to focus in on one because I don't want to talk about Vietnam all day. We had a draft in Vietnam. So, right now we have a 100% volunteer force. And when you're forcing people to go off and fight in a foreign land, as Bruce Springsteen said, it's much different than when you have a 100% volunteer force. These people want to be where they are.
But you also have to understand one big thing, Brian. I'm going to tell you this straight up front. Flag Day in the United States, back in New York City, which is a liberal hellhole now, used to see flags outside of every apartment.
When I was a kid, it was the same thing. It was the same thing when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s. Flag Day was a big day.
No patriotism.
Listen, I got to run, Richie. I got to run, but I agree with you. I agree with you. And there's no comparisons to Vietnam. I want to play. I know I played this in the last hour, but I got to play this again because I love when President Trump just says things, right? I like people that don't get captured. Oh my goodness. I like people that did get captured. That's amazing. S-hole countries. All these great Trump quotes. And yesterday is, I think, one of the best moments ever in presidential history. This was hilarious. So President Trump, our favorite president, he's in the Oval Office. He's sitting next to the Prime Minister of Japan, who is MAGA through and through, and a Japanese reporter asks him why he didn't tell anyone about the attack on Iran before. Why did he keep it a secret? Isla. That is the best. This never gets old to me. I'm going to play it one more time, then I'll go to the phones. But you can hear the Japanese Prime Minister go, she does this, listen for it. When you're listening for it, you can hear it. This Remember Pearl Harbor, this is why we love them. Okay, now first of all, this was not a surprise attack like Japan. Okay, we had a fleet at the north and a fleet in the south, both carrier groups. They knew something was coming. Okay, they may not have predicted the intensity of it and the targeting, but they knew an attack was coming. The other thing is the unprovoked sneak attack by Japan on Pearl Harbor. We didn't provoke Japan. We had an oil embargo against Japan because they invaded China, but it was an unprovoked attack 100% by Japan and a sneak attack. This was not unprovoked with Iran. They've been provoking and killing us for decades. And it wasn't a sneak attack because our carrier groups were known to be there for weeks. The Japanese carriers, we didn't know they were coming. You know, Joe Thomas was in studio last Friday with me. And, you know, Joe Thomas, he brought up something that was I'd not really considered before. And he told me one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to retirement planning is they assume they don't have enough money to retire, right? They assume they don't have enough money to retire. Don't assume that. Call Joe Thomas. It is a no-charge consultation. He is the retirement expert. He is the financial expert. He is the financial planner. He's been doing this for over 30 years, Joe Thomas. And he's a member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by only 1% of all financial advisors on the entire planet. So he's a top man in the industry. And he's told me stories of listeners in this audience who have retail jobs. And they're working and they're older and they would like to retire and they just don't think they can. They work retail. They make more money retired with annuities than they did working their tail off on their feet all day with the retail job. So don't assume that you don't have enough money. Call Joe Thomas. Take advantage of that no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. Callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back after this.
Yeah. All right.
Hang in there.
Yeah, come on. No. No.
Okay, we have about 45 seconds, and we'll be back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, song break.
Oh, this is.
All right, hold on. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve.
What are you doing this morning?
I'm always doing well, especially since we're leaving on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise Sunday.
Well, yes, that is exciting, and I know a lot of people in the audience are going to be there. We'll have a chance to spend some quality time with them, and I can't wait.
I know.
I know you can't wait. It's your favorite time of year.
I love it, don't you? Yeah, it's great. Our MAGA Cruises are awesome. All right, there's a lot going on. I don't know if what do you want to do?
A lot going on. Well, I'll tell you what I like. You know, I was watching last night was a crucial time in the battle, because it's a battle as to whether we can hang out before the liberals sabotage the entire war effort, which is they're doing their best to do, because they don't care about winning the war. They just care about getting reelected if they can.
Yes.
And they rightly, I think, perceive that if Don wins this one, it's over for another 100 years for them.
Yes, exactly.
And I think they're figuring right on that.
Yes.
But that was a great moment, that Pearl Harbor
Remember
moment.
Pearl Harbor? Oh, that was beautiful.
Yes, the Japanese, you guys are big on surprises. Yeah, it was great.
Well, there's certain,
great.
you know, it was a Japanese reporter that asked the question. And when this was presented in the news when it first happened, the media left that part out. They made it sound like it was CNN's Caitlin Collins that asked the question, not a Japanese reporter. And what a stupid, arrogant question for a Japanese reporter to ask the president.
Well, it was just great. It was classic in the way, of course, Trump never misses an opportunity like that. He jumped in, and it was like classic Robert Altman is what it was.
No, it was beautiful. I think that's going to be one of the most historical presidential moments in history, probably. That was a great one.
People who write history know what they're doing. They'd certainly make that a high point.
Remember Pearl Harbor, even when I was a kid, like my grandparents' generation, that was a common phrase. Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember the Maine. Remember 9/11. You know, there's all these great American catchphrases, and that's
back in the days of patriotism, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's coming back.
Did you see what happened with Mamdani's wife? She used the N-word.
I saw that.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's okay for her. She also, do you know who she celebrated on National Women's Day?
Who?
This is crazy. Now, keep in mind, she's the first lady of New York City. She celebrated on National Women's Day the first female airline hijacker. I'm not kidding. She went on, yeah. She went on X, she went on Twitter and celebrated on National Women's Day the first female airline hijacker.
Who was that?
Some Muslim woman. And she went on to say that you can't blame Islam for Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda was created by white men. Mom Donnie's wife, First Lady in New York. Well, Butte.
She's abused.
Not in form of beauty. That's sarcasm. Hold on, Steve. Our phones are on overload. Yeah, she's a real beaut.
Yeah, she is.
All right, there's one opening on the board. Do you want to take?
Attractive lady, though, you must say.
No. Steve, they have one angle where they take a photograph of her when they're down low and her head's up high, and she looks kind of normal.
Well,
if you see what
we all have our good angles and our bad angles.
No, this one you have to be a cinematographer to get this angle. When you see what she really looks like, she looks like Al Pacino in the 70s. Like Dog Day Afternoon era.
Well, that's not a plus.
No, it's not. She looks like Al Pacino in the 70s. And, if you see her. But, yeah, she's using the N-word. She's praising Al-Qaeda and terrorists. And, but that's okay. Democrats, they have complete immunity. But if you look at her, she looks like Al Pacino in the 70s. I'm looking at her now. If you see her at her appropriate angle.
But even better than that, the positions are starting to catch up with her. Mm-hmm. The budget things and all these things he promised, that now becomes obvious that financially are not
exactly
doable.
All right, now I cannot vouch for the quality of the calls. I'm just going to tell you that out the box, okay? It's been very hot and very cold. We've had very good callers, and all the calls have been good today, but some of the liberals are a little unhinged. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Mark from New York. How are you today, buddy?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
What's up?
Oh, doing great. Hey, so I just want to let you know, I love what's happening with the gas prices right now, because a lot of conservative are lower income people, uneducated, obviously, like you, but lower income. And it's going to hurt them a lot more right going into the midterms. I love it. You guys are just shooting yourself in the foot. You're celebrating it.
It's so nice to hear you care about
what
MAGA people.
What are you talking, sir? Can you slow down? I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Conservatives are usually lower income.
Hold on. You think you're doing well, and you would love it, right? Is that right?
Well, it's bad for you guys. I love that. Yeah.
Of course you love it. Because you wish bad for your country. Because you're not a patriot. You're a schmagiggy.
Do we have
I'm absolutely a patriot. I got American flag. Oh, Brian, real quick. I just want to let you know, I can prove you're uninformed. Do you want to know how I know?
No.
What?
Not really.
Tobacco, you have to be 21 across the United States to buy it. You said on Tuesday that you had to be 18, but that's not true. You're very uneducated on that, obviously.
I don't smoke, so I don't know anything. I've never bought cigarettes.
I didn't know. Yeah, well, you should do some.
All that caveman talk. Is that what you learned? Is that you said you're educated? I'm not. Is that what you learned in the fancy college you went to? That caveman talk?
No, I was mocking you. I don't know if you thought that or not.
Let me run this by Mark. Let me run this by you through your fake happiness. You sound like a crazy person with this fake happiness, by the way.
I'm a happy person.
I know. That's why you have to overdo it so much. Gas prices have gone up a couple quarters a gallon. Spare change, a few cents a gallon.
No, over $1 everywhere nationwide, but okay.
Whatever.
Quarters.
Whatever. You want to
Diesel's gone up more than that. The lifeblood of America.
4 quarters equal $1. Okay. So it's gone up It's gone up literally spare change a gallon. I just saw a story this morning of a heroic 19-year-old who had everything going for him. He was a wrestler, gold medals at the Olympics in his future, good looking, everything going. Iranian.
He stood up for what was right. The freedom
And
of...
your friends hung him.
Yeah, that's right. The Iranians, he sacrificed his
What do you
life.
have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah.
You're the people you support and you love and that you're rooting for hung this poor guy.
That's right.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't
Why are you as an American?
I don't support Iran.
Yes, you do.
Sure you do. You just admitted that at the top of the call. Why? What makes you hate your country so much? What makes you hate your country?
I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. You guys aren't patriots.
You're not addressing the question. You're not addressing the question. You're not answering the question. Why do you hate your country so much? I just want to know.
I love my country. I hate my administration.
You got me fooled.
All right, listen.
You got me fooled.
Donald Trump is a moron. He's a con man.
We're out of time.
Loser.
We're out of time for the hour. But here we got a 19.
Go ahead, Coward.
We have a 19-year-old.
Run away, Coward.
It's time for the break.
Okay, Coward. Just hang up.
But here we have a 19-year-old sacrifices his life for freedom, and you're complaining about spare change? Shame on you. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you and everyone on hold. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be back after the top of the hour break. Okay, Steve, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, stay there. Hang in there. All right. Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. Oh. I love the fake happiness with that guy, don't you? Fake happiness. Fake happiness. Probably not conference you with it because I don't want to lose you. Okay, but
I want to be able to hear it.
But Barry or the Gold Report?
The Gold Report.
Oh, all right, Barry's the next break. So we'll be back in about a minute. It's 8 o'clock. It's the top of the hour at 8 now. So we got
while to them.
Okay.
We'll be back in 1 minute.
Lori, you here?
Hold on, Steve. Hold on. No. Quiet. 30 seconds. So we go. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian, Steve Kane here, and what do you want to do, Steve? The phones, or you have some?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what I want to do. I want to take a breath here because there's a moment that should be acknowledged. It is Friday, and we've gotten some interesting calls here. I wanted to just mention a few of them. Who was the guy that called at the top of the hour? This guy who has suffered from obviously severe TDS.
I need more than that. That describes several people that have called today.
Well, the last one, the guy.
Oh, the guy with the fake happy. I'm so happy.
The guy with the guy with the little penis.
Mark from New York.
That's Mark from New York.
I don't know about the penis, but he was the last guy that called. I don't know about the small penis, but I know Mark was the last call.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I just wanted to acknowledge it was a good call. Because he was yelling and screaming and foaming at the mouth. And we got to get people to understand this is a very insidious disease, this Trump derangement syndrome. And when you recognize it, the best way to do, to get rid of it is to begin to get people to identify as they listen to their radios in the morning.
Yes.
And when you see a real severe case like that guy had, you can tell because the logic portion of their brain doesn't work. The civility portion of their brain doesn't work. It's like they're messes. They're cognitive messes. And when they call in, the best of the best we give names to.
Yes.
So I guess Mark from New York is what we're going to have to call them.
But I give you, if you know someone that's a Trump derangement syndrome sufferer that has it really bad, the best thing you can do is give them our call-in number, 888-465-2631.
Absolutely.
And have them call us between 6 and 9 a.m. weekday mornings.
We will give you a rest.
That's right. We'll take care of them. We'll lead them on the path to recovery. Right? All right. Hold on, Steve. The phones are blowing up here. Do you want to take some more calls?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling?
We'll help some of these poor Trump derangement sufferers.
Rodolfo Martinez from California.
Okay.
I don't believe it, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say I like your mariachi music from the waiting room. It's really cool.
All right. Okay, I think we've gone far enough with that guy. No.
I can hear his brain rotting.
By the way,
God.
By the way, let's just take another call. I'll tell you what I was going to say later. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Good morning, Steve. This is Dave in Royal Palm.
Hey, David. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I was just going to say, in kind of response to that last caller, part of the problems with the left is they've never studied economics. They don't understand how wealth is created, that more cash is brought in, or anything like that. Right now, the oil that we're using, pardon me?
You're correct.
They don't understand it. You're dealing with an education system where 70% of those people that graduate don't care, are illiterate. I mean, you got a bunch of people out there that, quite frankly, aren't all there.
Well, the problem with the oil thing right now is the price increases we're seeing right now are homegrown. it's basically opportunism. We don't get any oil from there except very small amounts.
It's what I've been talking about this since it's price gouging. All the local gas stations are raising the prices like dominoes. That's what happened. Been blaming the war.
And it's the same.
Whatever it is, it's going to be going soon. Whatever it is, it's going to be going soon. If you listen this morning, you can tell they got it under control overnight. Things are peaceful and things are going to work out okay now. And if you watch the news this morning, you can tell that I think the real controversy and the real panic, I think, is over now, and I think things are under control.
Well, you know, caller,
and I think it's going to be clear sailing.
You know, you're calling about the economics. You know, did you hear the callers earlier that asked me how tariffs are good on cars? Did you hear what I told them?
Yeah.
You know, a guy called and said, well, how can tariffs on a car be good? And I said, you go in to buy a new car, you can use that as a negotiating tool to get the price down. I'm not paying any tariff on your car. Drop the price $5,000. I'm not paying for the tariffs on your car. I'll go across the street.
Anybody that doesn't understand that these oil prices are going to moderate once things settle down a little bit, which is within the next week, it just doesn't know how to listen to the radio.
Exactly.
And one other thing about the oil is that you know, as soon as the threat in the Middle East goes down, I mean, Lloyd's of London charges a fortune for each ship that goes through there.
And that's going to be today. You're going to, by the end of today, the word's going to get around that the crisis is over.
Exactly, and actually, insurance prices and all that internationally, if they get lowered because of the threat reduction, then price of petroleum in Europe and Asia is going to be a little bit lower. And there's a lot of good things. And again, tariffs are eaten by the seller.
Correct.
Not us.
Correct.
And it's hard to get a lefty with only a right brain to understand any of this without cognitive ability.
When we hear from the
they don't want to understand.
No, and no matter what you tell them, they'll go back to their MSNBC talking.
And they'll hear what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
They want to stay under their blanket where it's warm and soft and toasty, without seeing any light.
But I'll tell you, like you're calling from Royal Palm. Palm Beach County historically is a Democrat county, and it's so Republican now. Boca, the twice as many Republicans voted in the Boca mayor's race the other day. They named Southern Boulevard after President Trump at the Palm Beach County Commission. This whole country is being magatized. It's being magatized.
I think they can see. I think all of those that are totally out of it, and unfortunately we have some of those in our audience.
That's for sure.
Amongst our callers, people are starting to get the drift.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I have a quick suggestion for Brian. I don't know if you've thought of this before, but if you get a license in therapy, you could kind of double have a PayPal account with the show, and just charge for some of the stuff you're trying to help people.
The show is kind of like therapy. There used to be a show.
It is.
There used to be a show when I first started in radio. I used to run tapes for this and stuff sometimes. Do you remember? You probably listened to this, Steve, for help at the time. Remember the Clean and Sober Hour? Used to air on the weekends on the radio in South Florida. The Clean and Sober Hour.
Yeah.
And
that was one of our.
Yeah, people would call in who were in different stages of recovery. The Clean and Sober. Well, this is kind of like a therapy hotline. 888-465-2631. We're helping these Trump derangement syndrome sufferers.
And we've always had a specialist on staff. Dr. Janae Lemaski, that we refer
for the tough cases.
She does wonderful work.
She's
especially good with TDS.
Yeah, Steve and I are kind of like life coaches. She's like, but for the hardcore cases, we send them off to the doctor. But that's some good advice, Royal Palm. I appreciate the advice. Always looking for a new opportunity to make some money. Take care. All right, let's see here. You want to take another call, Steve? I got time for no.
Sure.
I shouldn't do it, but let's do it. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Carlos, Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, I did a little research. Good morning. I did a little research on Mexico. Mexico is very rich, They have 8 Chrysler manufacturing plants. They have 4 of each General Motors and 4 manufacturing plants. That's not including the dealerships. They've probably got hundreds of those.
Yes.
They got 15 Pepsi Cola bottling companies.
Yep.
15 and 200 distribution. That means like little places.
The point is what? The point is
all right,
what?
The point is, Trump should hold up a piece of paper and call the president and says, hey, if your rich country can't support these people and they come in here so our rich people can support them, not your rich people, our rich people can support them, then let's make Mexico the 51st state.
I like that
idea.
About that? That's a good idea, Port St. Lucie. By the way, calling from one of our new radio stations carrying the program up in the Treasure Coast. I appreciate that. All right, good. We're up against a break. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. I love our new, I love our callers, our new radio stations up in the Treasure Coast, Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie.
Right.
And I'll tell you, well, I love all our listeners, but our Treasure Coast callers in St. Lucie County, right now at the St. Lucie Federal Courthouse in Fort Pierce, in St. Lucie County, Pam Bondi has at least one grand jury, maybe 2, involving the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. And when I hear these great callers from Port St. Lucie, from Fort Pierce, from Martin County, from St. Lucie County, these are the types of people that are on the grand jury. So we're going to get some indictments at some point out of that great courthouse. I'm excited. All right.
That's encouraging.
I'm going to put you and everyone on hold. We'll take a break and be back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, stand by.
Triggered lawyer.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds. Stand by.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Okay, hold on. Stand by.
A lovely day.
Hold on. All right, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Steve. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good morning.
We're doing well. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, are we still procrastinating with our estate planning?
Yeah.
Are we putting off one of the most important things that you can do for your loved ones? A lot of people do. They either put off getting it done at all or updating it. And there are a lot of hidden costs involved in procrastination when it comes to that. I mean, first of all, just the huge cost of leaving a mess behind for your loved ones. Who wants to leave a mess behind for your loved ones? There's also the cost of, if you have nothing in place, your stuff will likely end up going through probate. Probate is very expensive. You could be spending a significant amount of the assets that would have gone to your loved ones, and that could end up going to the attorneys and to the court systems and to others as well. And also, another huge cost is that your assets may not go where you had wanted them to go. They would go to unintended heirs, which is not what you would have wanted. So there are a lot of hidden costs that you'll leave behind by not setting things up at all or not setting things up properly. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you have an estate plan that works and to work with a professional such as ourselves who can help you and your family gain that peace of mind and get that protection so that you can leave a legacy the way that you want.
Exactly. And just I'll tell the people in the listening audience quickly, we found attorney Barry Siegel, who was recommended to us by someone, and you came in to review Steve Kane's revocable living trust, which he had done many, many years ago, and it was so out of date. It was a revocable living trust in name only because there had been so many changes in the family. And the Siegel Law Group recommends you review your revocable living trust or whatever estate planning you have every 3 years. So give them a call, and if you've had your estate plan put together by another attorney, another law firm, that's okay. The Siegel Law Group will review that at no charge as well. The number, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com, and Siegel is spelled S-I-E-G-E-L, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you when we're back from our vacation.
All right, have a great time.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
All right,
Take care, Barry.
All right. Okay. You want to go back to the phones?
Yes.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Robel Gizachu, legally blind man from Fort Lauderdale.
All right, Robel in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, am I on there?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, pardon us, we're all laughing here. We're just trying to get into the spirit.
Yes.
As you clearly have done.
Okay.
What's up?
Okay. I would like to address Brian.
You want to address Brian? Talk to him. Say it.
Yeah. Okay. He said a comment that was kind of insulting. He said that the average Somali IQ last time I spoke to him was 60. I'll give you an example. My mother.
You think the estimate was too high?
What? No, come on.
The estimate was too high?
I appreciate it.
I just asked the question, yes or no?
What?
Oh my
too high? No, it's too low. Oh my!
I think Robel is illustrating that I'm correct. He's giving us a real life example. The call in and say Brian was correct.
No, I'll give you an example. Maybe Steve knows about this. There were these aliyahs of Ethiopians going to Israel. Now, these Ethiopians, when they were in Ethiopia, they were illiterate. They were just prehistoric, as Brian Craig put it last time. And when they went to an industrialized or more, westernized country, they became lieutenants, generals, engineers
of Israel.
Reporters,
so the IDF
lawyers.
Is filled with Ethiopian generals? I haven't seen an Ethiopian general in the IDF.
Lord. Oh my goodness. Yes.
It is open phones on Friday, Steve. This is why we don't have open phones every day.
My point is that
two aspirin and call me in the morning.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Okay. On that note, he's gone. Oh my goodness. By the way, I'm not the one who said that the average IQ was 60. That was reported by many people in the press when the Leering Center scandal broke. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Oh, boy. It can only go up from there, Steve. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Steve. This is Bob from Pompano Beach.
Oh, hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob. What's up?
Hey. Well, you know what? I don't know know if you heard, Steve, but a couple of days ago I talked to Brian about people whining about the high gas prices. They don't want to sacrifice for anything. Okay, we live in a different world. As you probably remember, Steve, in the 70s, I grew up in New York. We had on and even gas lines of prices to get gas.
Oh, yes.
Okay? And it was hours online. And if you went online with your tank not close to E, they would remove you from the line. Okay? We had to stay online for hours. Okay? And people had to disrupt their schedules with businesses going to work. Okay? And people did it. Today, if we had gas lines, you're going to see beatings and killings, and we live in an instant gratification society, and nobody wants to sacrifice.
Well, let me ask you, how what is your feeling about how things are going with with getting some of this stuff passed? Is it going to happen, or are we hopelessly bogged down forever?
I want to be an optimist, Steve, but the way the world is, I'm getting more of being a pessimist. So
I don't know, but I think you're tuning out all the good that's happening around you. I think we're on the verge of a new dawn.
And remember what the did you hear? And you remember what the president said yesterday? Remember what the president said yesterday? Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember Pearl Harbor.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Go ahead, caller.
Especially you Japanese out there.
Exactly.
Now, I have to say, Trump has done a great job, and all the presidents that we've had in the past have not done anything close to what he has done in the positive way.
Well, let me explain what President Trump is doing.
He's got a production company over there.
Yeah.
And where other generals would be giving speeches, whatever it is, Donald Trump is writing plays.
Yeah.
And doing screenplays.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable.
What he's done, this isn't being widely reported, but he put together an international coalition to protect the Strait of Hormuz yesterday.
He single-handedly wiped out all the bad guys.
Yeah.
We've just got finished doing that. That hasn't quite sunk into everybody yet.
Nope.
But most of the bad guys are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little. Look, he would have been in trouble because these Democrats try to undermine everything that the country, that Trump does for the country to try to get us straightened out, and they're doing everything they can to mess it up, but they're not able to do it.
Yeah, well, I agree with you guys 100%. There's a lot of good. I just feel that people. And mostly Democrats on the other side are just so hateful and so negative and pessimistic a lot about what Trump is doing. And, I thank Trump for what he's doing. And I feel safer. I know a lot of cities feel safer.
What he's doing is a lot, but what he's, in particular with Iran, he's ridding the world of Islamic terrorism because Iran's behind all of it, including the Gaza war. And what he's doing is he's put together this new NATO-like organization of allies to set up the Strait of Hormuz as an international place of security where we're never going to be held hostage by Iran again, blocking up the Strait of Hormuz, which they've been doing for half a century.
Agreed.
If it wasn't for the way the news is, go ahead.
No, I said hopefully Cuba's next, where we liberate these people and that country.
I was watching.
I think you can count on that.
I was watching one of the local stations in Miami yesterday. Here, I don't remember which one it was, but the local stations here in Miami, one of them they have reporters in Havana. It's bad. They were reporting during the day. There's no electricity at all in Havana. And they've been without electricity nationwide for 4 or 5 days now. Nationwide, day and night.
Sounds like they need some.
Marco Rubio.
Radio advertising.
Exactly. Listen, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to put everybody on hold. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, and I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. Life Imaging FLA, we got our big vacation. If you have a vacation coming up, even if you're going with us on our cruise on Sunday, go over to Life Imaging FLA and get the heart scan. I'm telling you. You know, a lot of people go and get scans before they take trips because they want that peace of mind. They want to know that they're not going to have a problem when they're traveling. And you see what's going on at the airports with the TSA and everything else. You know, you want to be in healthy condition before you go through any of that. And Life Imaging FLA can do that for you. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. All right, callers on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll free, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. I love it. That to me, that never gets old, guys. All right, we're in break for the bottom of the hour. We have, let me see how long we have left. Okay, we got a couple minutes till we're back, but that one never gets old to me, ever, ever, ever. I can watch that one all day long. That's got to be one of President Trump's funniest moments, don't you guys think? What could even come close to that one? That's up there with I like people that don't get captured. Oh, yes. I'm not going to get to this probably on the show. I'll play for you guys during the break. This is Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, talking to Annie Hall here about what the Democrats are going to do if they win the presidency in 2028. New York Times reporter, Annie Hall. See what he's talking about? He's talking about putting ICE agents in prison, Pritzker? Wow. Yeah. So he's talking about imprisoning ICE agents, President Trump, all these people. All right, we got 1 minute. We'll be back. All right. Are you there, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, we got just under a minute. And we'll be back.
Is the gold report going yet?
No.
Am I going to get it?
Yeah. That's the next break.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You want to go back to the phone, Steve?
Is this the gold report?
No, next break is the gold report. It's only...
Gotcha, go.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. The governor of Illinois, Pritzker, did an interview with the New York Times. He's lost a ton of weight. I mean, and everybody's saying, oh, he's running for president, Pritzker. Good luck.
And he's still ugly, I bet.
Yeah. But he gave this interview for the New York Times, and what he gave us, and not a lot of people are paying attention to this, but I pay attention to everything. They have this thing they're calling Agenda 2029. And he revealed it in this New York Times interview. Agenda 2029. That's the new Democrat Party platform. And
does it sound familiar?
Yeah, that Project 20. What was Project
23? Every year they have a project something.
Yeah, I know, all these 5-year plans like Hitler used to have. But
until they all disappear to nothing.
But Pritzker, he did this interview, and they actually called it Project 2029. He revealed it. They're going to put the ICE agents in jail. They're going to prosecute the ICE agents, and they're also going to arrest and prosecute all the politicians that back Trump. And this is what they're running on. And I'm glad he told us this early on. I mean, you know what? It really shows you, Steve, how out of touch with reality the Democrats are, right? I guess so. I mean, yeah. All right, let's go back to the phones. Trying to raise the bar with the callers if we can. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, JJ. What's up?
Well, hoping you guys are. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great time when you go on on your cruise. And yeah, you got to suffer through this last day here with some of these callers. Mark from New York with the TDS through the roof. But I was going to say, yeah, okay. The Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, she was, to me, when I heard that sort of hum of annoyance, I think she was just angry towards the young reporter from Japan. And I think they have the same problem that we do here, is that they don't teach their children history, especially if in Japan you don't want to teach that your great-grandparents were fanatics, the Bushido Code and the like on Chichi-jima Island.
Clearly, if you're doing it from the point of view of the Japanese, clearly it becomes a dicier issue.
When I was in college, I went to college as an adult. Okay, so I didn't go as a kid, but I went to Florida Atlantic University, and they had a visiting professor from Munich, right? And he gave this lecture. This German professor. It sounded like Eichmann. He had that Eichmann accent.
There were no Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. And and the only Jew is the only good Jew is no. He didn't say that. But anyway, he went into this. Okay. He sounded like them. He had the accent. German professor from the University of Munich. And I was excited to hear him because and he was going to talk about World War II. And I was excited because there's a little-known hero of the Second World War named Sophie Scholl who went to the University of Munich, and she was actually part of the resistance of the Nazis. And the Nazis put her in a guillotine. They cut her head off in Germany. And I thought, well, he must have some Sophie. It was called the White Rose, guys. Look it up. It's amazing. Was the name of the organization, the White Rose. And I thought, well, he must have something about the White Rose and Sophie Scholl. So I went to his lecture. And he was talking about nationalism. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. The grandson or the son of a Nazi talking about nationalism. I can't wait to hear this. And he says, in Germany, we don't understand you guys in America with all your nationalism and your flags and waving and all this. And I said to my professor, I said, what's he talking about? The Germans invented nationalism. For him to come here just showed his perspective. This idiot report, you're right on the money about the Japanese reporter yesterday. That Japanese reporter, I didn't think about it till you said it, okay? And you're spot on.
He was being the smartass.
Yeah, I think they don't know about Pearl Harbor.
They don't know.
They don't know about Pearl Harbor, just like this guy didn't know about German nationalism.
They don't know their own history. Just like we don't know our own
history. Well, then their schools are worse than ours.
And the prime minister was not upset at the president. She was embarrassed by the reporter for bringing up sneak attacks by aircraft carrier groups. It was the dumbest. It was like the Nazi grandson telling me about the nationalism. It was, Well,
you look at the fanaticism of the time with the Japanese, and what I was going to do is connect that to the fanaticism that we see in Iran, because those people back then, they don't teach that history, but I mean, they were on one of the islands, Chichijima. They practiced cannibalism. That came out in like 2018. That was the island that our former president Bush Sr. actually attacked, and he actually ditched his plane. They show him getting rescued by a submarine, but that was the attack on that island because they had two big radio towers. That was the communication for the entire Pacific for the Japanese. But that type of fanaticism is the type of fanaticism that is in Iran. If Iran could press a button and kill every Christian in the world, they would do it.
And Jew.
They would Christian, Jew. They would just. So the idea of this talk about imminent threat. I mean, they've been an imminent threat since '79, and the 60% enrichment on uranium. It doesn't. I mean, listen, 3 days with the right centrifuges, they're at weapon grade uranium. They don't have to have an ICBM to deliver it. They can do dirty bombs. These people will do anything, and the proof is in the pudding. That's what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
So these people that call in, the Marine, God bless that poor fool that called in today, talking. I mean, I know my cousin is married to a Marine who was actually in Beirut and lived. And I spoke to him the other day, and, I can't tell you what he said because you break your arm on the dump button, but he's about as happy as I've ever seen him. He lost so many friends that day. They've got a beautiful family, 5 kids, my cousin and him, but he tells, very, very rarely does he talk about that. But I saw him, and I looked at him, and I said, I just asked him, I said, are you happy about what's happening in Iran? And he went off. I don't think there's a Marine alive or dead right now that isn't dancing.
Look at what happened. I was trying to talk to that idiot from New York about it, but he went, this 19-year-old kid that the Iranians hung, this guy here is an Iranian hero. I mean, he had his whole life ahead of him, and he was a winner. And he risked everything and sacrificed his life for the freedom of Iran. And I get these snowflakes on the phone that are complaining about 75 cents or 50 cents on a gallon of gas. It's insane.
The tariffs are basically, the tariffs are basically bringing our kidnapped businesses back to our country. And, the rest of the world is going to have to learn to code. Joe Biden, I'm sorry, buddy, but the coal miners don't need to learn to code. They're going to be digging coal.
Do you think we're over the hump with this venture, our current situation? Do you think we're over the top with it?
Steve, I do. I think we are, but there's still a lot of battles to be fought. But I think we're over the major. I used to be really, really nervous about, if the Democrats, this past election, if they got in, because once they get in, it's like Venezuela. They just fix every election. They stay in power forever. And if you raise your voice, all of a sudden, I think you paid Pritzker during the in-between breaks, Brian, where he's saying what they want to do, what they've got to do more than anything is bring law and order back. They've got to arrest all these, they're going to bring law and order back, which means
by arresting the police.
They're going to arrest people. They're going to arrest people for doing their job. They're going to arrest the ICE agents.
What Pritzker said they're going to arrest the ICE agents, right? That is right out of the playbook of Charles Manson. What's that old thing that Charlie Manson used to say, Steve, about all the good guys are in prison and the bad guys are outside of prison?
Oh, yes.
The world's a negative and all that stuff. Pritzker and the Democrats' view of America is the same view of Charlie Manson. The good people are in the prisons and the bad people are the police outside of the prisons. Yeah. And this it's I hope they stick with that platform.
His Charlie Manson, his prognostication was that he lived for the day when all the institutions like jails and stuff like that would open their doors and all the good people inside would be let out,
the illegals,
and all the people that were running the place now would all end up dead.
Well, that's what Pritzker's wants. That's what Pritzker's running on. Yeah. The Manson platform.
The Manson.
Yeah, the Manson platform.
I love it. Charlie Manson's platform. Good. It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Charlie's plan.
This is what Charlie would have wanted, not Kirk Manson. Yes.
That's pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
I'll say this, guys. Listen, you two. You too. I hope you're bringing your Mike Lindell slippers with you, Steve, and hit that martini bar and just breathe for a good week. Enjoy the hell out of yourself.
I'm not
guys.
drinking any alcohol. I'm just going to drink water.
Oh, you're not going to drink this time? You're going to drink water?
I'm going to, well,
and I'm not drinking either.
The drink package includes the fancy bottled water that comes in the glass bottles. So I'm going to try to just drink bottled water this time and not have any alcohol. I've tried that before.
Well,
I tried
it. Takes willpower to do that. So, listen, I think
don't congratulate me till we're back.
Till it's over? Okay.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call.
All right, guys, have a good time.
All right, I'm gonna put you and everyone on hold, Steve. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Let me tell you guys, I know many of you out there have tried to lose weight, and you've tried plans and things like this, and maybe it didn't work out for you. With Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it will. I have never been on any type of diet plan or diet or weight loss program in my life. I tried it once, I lost the weight, and I've kept it off. It's called Coastal Weight Loss Secret, okay? And there's none of that yo-yo dieting and none of the gaining the weight back, none of that failure, none of that starving yourself or eating terrible food that doesn't taste good, none of that. And also no pills, no shots, no injections, none of that. It works, and I've kept the weight off. And I know you can do it because I did on my first attempt. And not only did I lose more weight than my goal, I've kept the weight off. Kept the weight off. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals look today?
Well, metals look good. Exciting times in the precious metals, giving us great buying opportunities with the pullbacks that we've had over the last few days. Yesterday, gold traded in a range on the low of $4,502 all the way up to $4,868 and closed out the day down $168 at $4,648.70 the ounce. But that was down $168. But at one point, gold was down $300 yesterday. Wow. And Steve Kane listeners, the educated ones, lined up to take advantage of that dip and buy the metals yesterday. and then they turned around and came back to close only down 168. But silver did an amazing job. Silver was down to $65.45 at one point yesterday, then turned right around, went all the way back up to close above the support level that we had taken out at $72.69, which meant it only closed down $2.52. Platinum was down $51, closing out the day at $1,972, and palladium was down $28 at $1,434. Now this morning we've got gold trading or overnight in a range of $4,633 up to $4,736. Right now we're at $4,670 the ounce. That's up $21.30 right now. Silver down $1.13 at $71.55. We want to watch that silver. If silver can stay above that $70 number and close out the week above $70, that could be very supportive to see us moving back up next week. Platinum down $4 right now at $1,980, and palladium up $6 at $1,440. So the metal's basically digesting those losses from the last few days and coming back a little bit, and also giving us still a great buying opportunity.
No doubt about that. Now listen, you can do all of your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Engelman, no matter where you're located in the United States. William Engelman opens up at 10 a.m. and you can call him at 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. You can stop in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Engelman, you have a great weekend, and Steve and I will talk to you when we get back from our vacation.
Hey, have a great trip.
All right, take care, take care. All right, Steve, I'm going to put you and everybody on hold for a moment. The phones are ringing off the hook. All right, you back with me, Steve?
I don't know, am I?
You certainly are, absolutely. All right,
okay.
So here we are, the final few minutes of the program. Before we go back to the calls, though, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. You know, when I first met Dr. Appleton, I had so many aches and pains. And the way I just thought, okay, I'm at my age now, this is light. Because I remember my grandparents, right? They had all these aches and pains, and I just figured that was a part of growing old. Well, it was a part of growing old in my grandparents' day because Dr. Appleton was not around with the robotic laser wave pain treatment. I live a completely pain-free life. I had pains in parts of my body that were so bad that I was literally in tears. Okay, I really was. The arthritis that he rid me of was the worst. And when he told me I had arthritis, it was like a death sentence, I thought. I just, oh my goodness, I'm done. And the robotic laser, he says, no, Brian, the robotic laser treats arthritis. And it did. The pain's gone. I have no arthritis pain anymore. The other pain's gone too. And I want to stress, the 7 times Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain, whether it's arthritis from my car accident I was in, my falling off the skateboard, whatever it is, not only did he rid me of the pain without surgery, without downtime, without drugs, without shots, but none of the pains have returned. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, just like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, hang in there. We're going to go to the phones. And are you back with me, Steve? Don't tell me I lost Steve right here at the end of the show, right before the cruise. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm going to get Steve back on the line because I'm not going to let that happen on our day before the cruise. If you're on hold, stand by. But I'm going to tell you all that we're going for the lightning round of calls. So this is the last round of calls before our trip. So make them good, if you don't mind, okay? Make them good as I'm getting Steve back live on the air here, which I would not normally do. But all right, Steve, we got you back?
I'm with you.
Okay, let's go to the phones. The lightning round. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you? It's a sad commentary, but it's probably true. I think Charlie Manson probably would get the Democratic nomination, and how sad is that? The damage the left has done to our educational system, we have a magnificent history that is not even being taught. That should be a base for every generation of American that's born and raised in this country. It's incredible, and something should be done about that, too. But You know, this is a marvelous country, wonderful opportunities for everybody, and this is history of our country is not being taught in the educational system. What a travesty that is. What a travesty.
We're living the history of our country right now, each day that we get out of bed.
Yes, we are. Because of those prior histories, we enjoy the life we have in this country. It should at least be taught the sacrifices prior Americans made.
It made me feel good with when the Japanese education system seems to be as lacking as much as ours. You know, when they don't, you know, with that reporter's stupid question. You know, basically what Trump was saying was, how could you be so stupid to ask that question in that way right now?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you, out of your mind? You know.
They don't know. They don't have that frame of reference, and it's because of the educational system.
Over there, too.
Hopefully let's hope that'll be rectified in another Trump administration, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because this
come on, you're not telling me you don't think this reporter knew what he was saying?
I don't think they just don't have that frame of reference. I don't think so. They just.
I think they have that frame of reference. That's why if you didn't have the frame of reference, you wouldn't be shocked.
Well, it's we don't have the frame of reference here, or else Trump would be recognized as the greatest president we've ever had.
He is recognized.
So
I recognize.
We do understand that Pearl Harbor is equated with a sneak attack. I mean, we haven't distorted what it's about.
Oh, Pearl Harbor! Oh my God! You know. But he should be recognized by all members. If we have the right educational system, he would be recognized as the greatest president we've ever had.
Well,
absolutely.
Having 100% Republicans in the country, you've set the bar a little high there, I would say. Come on.
Oh, I don't know. Not from my point of view. I think it'd be great.
It would be nice.
I think before it's over, there are going to be a lot of people saying he is the greatest president we've ever had, bar none.
Absolutely.
Well, I can tell you, Pritzker is not going to be the greatest president. I mean, where is this? This is the 2030s. They're running the same party line out again. This is ridiculous.
He's got a different title. He's the ugliest presidential candidate that ever ran for office.
He certainly is. No difference of opinion on that one. But
did you see the video? Did you guys see the video of Kamala Harris with the Kamala Harris impersonator this week?
No.
This I'll have to describe it to you because I can't play. It's a visual. So Kamala Harris is at some event, and they bring a Kamala Harris impersonator over to meet her. It's a drag queen, first of all. So it's a man dressed as her.
Right.
And the imitation is that of a drunk. And he staggers over her like he's going to fall over drunk and sounds just like Kamala Harris. It was hilarious. And they're both so stupid that, I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, I guess you had to see it. But the drag queen didn't realize that they were insulting Kamala Harris by doing the drunk act. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was look it up online.
Kamala Harris and followed by Pritzker for the Democratic nominee for president.
But I want to tell you something. You know, if Kamala Harris would have won the presidency, or if Biden would have had a second term, freedom in this country would have been gone. You know, they talk about dictator. They got another No Kings event this month coming up.
Okay.
You know, I'm wearing a MAGA shirt and a MAGA hat right now. That would have been illegal at some point in a Kamala Harris administration. No doubt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But listen, guys, have a wonderful trip. You guys really deserve it. You put a lot of work in for us, I think, more than people appreciate. So have a wonderful vacation. And,
all right.
You know, we love the shows in the morning. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Let's go. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. I'm going to try one more, Steve. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. My name's Eric from Central Illinois. And I just wanted to, I want to say thank you to both you and Steve. Great show. I've called in before, but hey, I want you guys to have a blessed and enjoyable trip on your cruise. So I just wanted to keep it upbeat. No, thank you. I can save it for another day to talk about the fun stuff, but you know, I just really appreciate what y'all do, and you guys have a blessed and safe trip and enjoy yourself.
We appreciate you.
Yes, all right. Take care. You know, I'll tell you guys real quick how this cruise came about is somebody approached us and wanted us to take a trip with listeners to Israel. And I was interested in that because, you know, I'm a Christian. You're a Christian and a Jew, Steve, right? And I thought, oh, this would be great, right? We'll see the Stations of the Cross. But this is not what this guy wanted to do. He wanted us to go to the border of Syria. He wanted us to go to bomb shelters.
Right.
Remember that guy? He's like, yeah, we're going to go to the border of Syria. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound like fun. Yeah, and he says after that, we'll go in the bomb shelter and we'll simulate an attack. So and I'm like, what? So I told you, I said, why don't we do a cruise, right? Why don't we do a cruise with our listeners? That sounds more fun than going to Syria. On the border of Syria.
That's for sure.
The border of Syria. Give me a break, you know. But this is our 10th annual cruise. It would have been our maybe 12th if it wasn't for the shutdowns and lockdowns. This is our 10th annual MAGA cruise. And we do this every year. And I just want to say, because we only have a few seconds left, the radio station, they loaded me up with something they'd never done before. They gave me equipment to broadcast from the ship from, and that's in case of breaking news. There's a war going on, a lot's happening. So if there's major breaking news, Steve and I will be live on the radio next week, like Walter Winchell, from a ship at sea. Yeah, okay? And so if any major news breaks, we will be live on the air no matter where we are on our trip. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane has been here. And have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. God bless Donald Trump. All right. Hey, now listen, guys. Remember, I will, even though I won't be on the radio next week unless there's major news, I will be here on YouTube next week, okay? So, and the weekend. I don't leave till Sunday afternoon. So you'll see me over the weekend here on YouTube, including this afternoon. And I will be live streaming throughout the week from the cruise. So make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell so you get a notification when I go live. But I will be broadcasting throughout the cruise right here on YouTube, regardless of what happens. There's too much going on to spend a week not covering it with all of you guys, okay? But I will be back this afternoon and over the weekend as well, less like any other weekend, because like I say, we don't set sail until Sunday afternoon, all right? And I will be here next week as well on the cruise. My name is Brian. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'll see you this afternoon on the podcast.